Here we are, 17 minutes past the hour. Leo and Christy for the Leo Zagami Show.
Hi, everyone.
And here we are with the most unusual geopolitical analysis to date. We always get it right. I'm sorry for you, but we always get it right. We knew that by the fall this year, we will start really seeing some big events in Taiwan, but it seems they are even anticipating their plan, because Nancy Pelosi, of course, is threatening a visit to Taiwan, and you know, Pelosi. Well, of course, all this show with Henry Kissinger intervening and all the rest means that we are about to approach another international crisis. We will be discussing this and much more in today's show. So welcome to Supiev, Poli, Lane, Braish, Telepandemia, Lisa the Word, and many others who are tuning in for the Leo Zagami Show. As you know, this is now a weekly appointment, at least for this summer, and we thank those very few people, because I have to be honest, it's a very few people who kind of support us, of course, with their donations, and that is great. I mean, we wish there were many more, but it seems like people maybe are in some kind of economical crisis. So
we're very grateful for the donations that we do receive.
Absolutely, and mainly from Karen, Serge Labar, and then Giuseppina, and Bruce. These are the people who made possible today's transmission. Please, if you want to help us, we no longer are able to receive donations through PayPal. We've been removed from that platform many times, but we are capable of receiving donations through other platforms. Isn't that the case, Christine?
GoFundMe, Fundly. I think people can use PayPal.
No.
GoFundMe.
Okay.
For GoFundMe, I think.
For GoFundMe, yeah, they can. So let's put the GoFundMe link just on the screen, so then people can eventually, if they're interested in donating, they can, of course, forward us a few bucks, and that really is mainly used to pay for the bills. We have an extremely expensive bill here because we have air conditioning, lights in the studio, and all that comes to a lot of money. So we have been really reducing the transmissions, so I could also dedicate myself, and also Christy could dedicate herself, to preparing our new book. The summer months here in Palm Springs seem to be probably the best. Because we can use them to just stay indoors. The heat, of course, is at times unbearable, but we are working on producing in the next couple of months, of course, the first book of the Leo Zagami series that will be published in contemporary in 2 languages. So it is the first time, really, I think, that an author, especially an Italian author, does something like that, especially because the translation is directly involving me and you, and it's not really a translation, but it's an adaptation to the English language, so we can work it a little bit better and make it really a product that people will love, just like they've been appreciating this book that you see behind me, which is volume 7 of my Confessions, which of course discusses also the next crisis. The next crisis, it's about to explode, unfortunately, and it's going to be a bad one. Probably even worse than the Ukrainian crisis, which is still ongoing, even if there has been, for the first time since the middle of February, a conversation between Blinken and Lavrov, the two people who are representing, of course, the United States and the Russian Federation, have finally had the opportunity to have a chat. Though this chat was mainly focused on the release, of course, of those American prisoners. There is that very tall basketball, Brittany, yes, who was caught because she stupidly tried to bring in to Russia some cannabis oil. And then we have some other guy, and they want to do an exchange, with the merchant of death, because of course Russia has some very interesting characters here in the local prisons. So.
Don't make a statue.
With his mustache, very 70s though. I mean, when you see his look, he's really 70s. I mean, we want to go and check the look of the Merchant of Death. Let's go and check the look of the Merchant of Death, of Vladimir Putin, Merchant of Death. Putin, Merchant of Death. Let me show you here who is Victor Boot. Well, he's a character.
Oh,
here.
boy.
But definitely, guys, here he is.
What did he do?
He is a weapon dealer, of course. and what a character! What a character! I'm going to show these pics because we like also to be able to at times smile, have a laugh, even with serious topics. It kind of it's better. This is the Merchant of Death. Ooh, what a the mustache, old school mustache. It reminds me a little bit of my father.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the kind of like.
I think everybody's dad had a mustache like that.
Yeah, in the 70s. Let's check him out. This is the Merchant of Death that will be exchanged for Brittany. I would prefer to have really the Merchant of Death here with us rather than Brittany, who is somebody who dislikes the United States. And is just a typical libtard. So, I mean, for me, she can stay and rot in prison in Russia, if that's the case. Maybe I'm a bit mean.
Oh, she doesn't like America.
She doesn't like America that much, so maybe she should stay in Russia. And I'm sure that they are treating her well, because it seems that's the... in any case, let's go down to the topics of the day, the topics. We have a few of them. We want to also thank all those people who purchase the Leo Zagami books, and they also send us pics. They send us pics of their purchase through Ordo Illuminatorum Universalis at gmail.com, a mail that you can also find here in the description of this video. This is a nice pic, huh?
What's that one in the back? Oh, there's my book.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a pic of maybe the person who's reading the book. I don't know. Maybe.
Cool.
Cool. I mean, that's great. Yeah, it seems so. But then we have.
Very fashionable and beautiful.
That's it. That's it. Like all the readers of our books. Then there is somebody who simply sent a picture of the book. I mean, very plain. A bit boring. Maybe they should just make it a little bit more fanciful, like the choreography, mixing my book also with other books. In this case, with some weird and obscure grimoires. Imagine that. What is this book?
Ooh.
History of the Persian Empire. Interesting. And then we have here somebody also who has purchased, because guys, this book has an opportunity for you, an opportunity that was never given before. This is a hardback copy. And so people can also purchase not only the paperback, but for a little bit more, they can purchase also the hardcover. And trust me, this is the best book around regarding the Great Reset. And I mean, it's been said even by Alex Jones himself, who wrote and published just now a book on the Great Reset. He said that this is the best book around regarding the Great Reset. So, guys, if you want to support our show and you don't want to donate, I don't know, maybe you don't feel comfortable with donating money, at least purchase a book. Purchase a book, because purchasing one of our books helps us really, and it makes possible our future transmissions here. We have another beautiful pic from another reader. You see the beautiful readers of, in this case, your book.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Nice, nice,
I like
nice.
your hat.
Very, very, very nice. Let's show it again for the
Very
joy
beautiful.
of very beautiful. And like I said, you can send your photos with the book when you receive your book, and then at that point, when you receive the photo, these two gentlemen will not laugh any longer. I'm going to show you who are these two gentlemen, because they laugh too much. They laugh too much, but they will not be laughing any longer if you purchase volume 7. Here they are, very, very joyful, very... Yeah, they had a conversation the other day. And this conversation, of course, sparked some controversy, because, as usual, Joe Biden claimed he said certain things. The Chinese said he didn't, because that's how it is. But let's really go to the situation at the moment of high tension, and of course, welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. 28 minutes past the hour. We are here in Pacific Standard Time, 28 minutes after 10 o'clock in the morning. Then for those who are following us in Mountain Time is 11:28. For those who are following us in the CST, Central Time, is 12:28. And for those who follow us in New York, for example, in Eastern Time is
3 hours.
1:20, nearly 1:30, yeah? It's lunchtime for them. Well, if you're following us, wherever you're following us in the world, remember that at one point we will also have our...
Pizza! What?
No, we have phone calls.
Phone calls!
That's okay, guys. In the middle of an international crisis, the Zagamis will have a frozen pizza. That's okay. That's okay. So China warns Pelosi trips marks invasion and military has right to fire on her plane. Well, guys, are we sad about this? I mean, are we at this point? You are almost tempted to become a Chinese communist after this statement. This is a beautiful statement. This is great. I mean, it's all a show, though, because we know that Nancy Pelosi and the Communist Party are very close. She even, at one point, had some kind of taxi business during the Olympics.
What?
Yeah, she set up a taxi. She makes money. She and her husband are two crooks of never-ending proportions. China wants Pelosi. Well, guys, how many of you will be sad if Nancy Pelosi is taken down?
I won't. I don't care.
I don't think many people will be crying here over their ways and beyond. I'm not going to be crying, guys. But the interesting thing is, when you go on MSN.com, this is the mainstream news. This is basically what the people think is legitimate news. I would like to, though, point out a fact here, which really demonstrates how this whole system is rigged. This article here, Pelosi Taiwan visit the region, tens of Chinese Navy watches, is basically picked up from the South China Morning Post, which is basically like saying the Chinese Communist Party Morning Post. I mean, so is this the kind of legitimate news that we are providing Americans from a communist source? Is that what America is providing? So that means that this country has already been bought for, paid for, and is going down the drain. We would like to change all this. We would like to make this video viral. So you should go on all your social networks now and share it with with your friends and family, and of course purchase this book, which tells you not only what will happen with the Ukrainian war, and remember this was published before and envisioned everything, but also the Taiwan war, because after that the guys prepare, because at that point the social collapse is imminent, and if you don't have this book you will not understand what is happening next. Okay. Very, very elegant, my wife today. Very beautiful. What are you wearing?
Dress.
Dress.
You look nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we know that there is many people who are following us at the moment from all over the world. Somebody says, I purchased all of Zagami's books. Well, you can make a photo and show it. Show your books maybe in your... No, but it's nice to receive a photo from our audience, and they can make photos with animals, with in a particular background of their home, outside their home. Well, you can be creative and show us that you purchased these books, and then show also our viewers that will appreciate, of course, the photos. And we are, of course, discussing what is happening here, because, guys, here is about preparing for war. No jokes. End of the jokes. We joked until now. See, the end of the woke philosophy of all that that is ruining our society will happen when the first bombs will start to detonate. Then at that point, the feminists, where the feminists are going to be? They're going to be all behind the men. They're men with the machine guns fighting for their lives. This is World War III, guys. It's not a joke. It's coming to not a cinema near you, unfortunately, but probably a city near you. Preparing for war. Support, you see, this is what they're doing. This short, I mean, when the Chinese People's Liberation Party post simple thing like preparing for war. Ooh.
I don't know if people really take it seriously.
I don't think people have understood what does this mean for humanity. We can hardly we can hardly keep together the economy after one war, the one that is happening right now, or special military operation, depending on the points of view in Ukraine. But with this war, our society is doomed. I'm sorry to say that, I have to be honest. There is no way that America can survive a war with China, because China, of course, will be allied with Russia. And this will leave America in a very, very bad situation. So the article here of the Global Times is very clear. Preparing for war, this short social media post by the Chinese People Liberation Army, 80th group, army generated over 300,000 thumbs up. So you see, the Chinese are preparing for war, and they have their support of their people backing them. We don't have any support for our military. We have military that think about changing gender or some bullshit like that. That means they will be defeated in battle, they will be crushed. Sorry to say that, guys, but if your generals are a bunch of little sissy girls who bow down to the libtards in Washington, that's what you're going to get here. And so it's going to be really sad to see this civilization fall down, people desperate, crying, screaming for a piece of bread. Will we survive it? Well, we need to be ready. So, storable food, weapons, and water filters, and whatnot. I mean, solar generators, and everything that you need to survive. Of course, we want to survive in a decent way.
And a Bible.
Yeah, and a Bible. Well, we have two. One for me, one for you. It's always good to have two Bibles. But then there is, if you ask how it's going to end up to the AI, because you see, somebody has asked to the AI, what is their predictions for all, for what's going to happen? Asking an AI to show the last selfie ever taken. And that became one of the most creepy moments.
What does
Because
that mean?
these images are generated by the AI about what will happen. Creepy now AI has to predict last selfie taken on Earth, and it's horrifying.
Oh my gosh. Is that it?
No, this is one of them. This is the last selfie that will be ever taken on Earth. And basically, as you can see, it will be...
What the?
I know.
That's Earth up there.
I know. It's weird.
Whatever.
Well, but this is what the AI has done.
But that's Earth over there. We're okay. These are the people that got vanished.
I'm glad that you have such a positive outlook.
Why?
A TikTok,
I live with Leo Zagami.
a TikTok account dedicated to asking artificial intelligence disturbing questions revealed what DALL-E AI thinks the last selfie on Earth will look like. But it's good that you pointed on I mean, this is always monstrosities. I mean, aptly named Robot Overlords, the TikTok account promises daily disturbing AI-generated images. I'm glad for that. But yes, why is there an Earth up there? Interesting. That was a good.
Maybe they all got banished to Saturn.
Each generated image is very creepy and looks like a disaster scene. The account asked the AI image generator to show what the last selfie ever taken would look like. Several images were produced. So these AI generated images are, of course, very apocalyptic. We are in a situation of a complete apocalypse. So this is how it is, guys. I mean, we will be discussing this and much more during our call part of the show today. Christy, what do you think?
I think that it's very bad. I don't know. What am I supposed to think? But I think it's kind of hopeful that the Earth is over there, just spinning around happily. And this has to be some other planet. So
it's weird.
Maybe it's Mars. He's on there with Elon. That's Elon Musk. That's
That's Elon Musk. So, now, I think the interesting thing here is that, of course, we might really not have a exchange of nuclear missiles. I think that is it's a bit far-fetched that there will be a full-on nuclear confrontation. But the fact that there will be a series of dirty bombs that will be exploded in various cities around the world, well, that is something that might really, really happen. And it's, of course, weird, and we hope nothing so bad ever happens. But you see, I see it from the creepiness of, for example, promoting in New York nuclear awareness and preparing the people for a nuclear explosion in New York, out of all places. I think that really gives us the idea of where we are heading next. Because it's a little bit like when they start to hint on things that could happen, and then in the end we ended up with 9/11, which was, of course, a turning point for our recent history, no? And so, why are they even discussing the possibility of something like that happening? What do you think, Chris?
Trying to scare us?
Yes, definitely. They want us scared. They want us scared. They want us immersed in a strategy of tension. There is, of course, threats that have been made also by Russia. Russia is still there discussing. Of course, people think less of the war in Ukraine these days, because they say, oh well, you know, it's not really going anywhere. But the consequences are still there, and they're very bad consequences. And like I said, the threat of a nuclear growing fears Putin will use nukes as Russia war effort falters. Brit expert claims. This is an article of yesterday by Ewan Gledo. So, see, the fact that there is the possibility that they will use nukes is definitely a possibility, but it could also just be strategy of tension, like you said, no, Christy, and getting people to get more and more scared. But who is behind Putin? There is a sex crazy mistress. That's it. You know, I mean, it's always about sexy times. When it comes down to certain levels of power, you know, then there is some kind of there might be a femme fatale. That is what they say in French. Femme fatale. Well, in this case, Vladimir Putin's mistress is said to have influenced not just his personal life and mood, but his stance on foreign policy. An expert on the Russian president has claimed this in the related book. I mean, it's kind of interesting that a lady could really influence so much. She is the lover of Vladimir Putin.
Is she the one with all the babies?
Which with all the babies, I mean, all the babies. I don't know. I mean, she is the one that they threatened, and then they, of course, put on the list, punishing her just like every other oligarch. She has some kids from Vladimir Putin. Lifted his spirits. Interesting, yes, Bruce. Kind of like picked up on a weird terminology, lifting his spirits. Maybe with some sexual magic, who knows? This is the Leo Zagami Show. 43 minutes past the hour. This is our Saturday morning rundown of our weekly news. No? We are analyzing it. We are, of course, discussing it with you. We will be discussing it also further on with our audience when we open the phone lines. But first, let's go into a very, very scandalous thing which I discovered and shocked me, because I said, is this possible here in America now, today, that basically the minors, the fragile, the individuals that really are more subject to human trafficking because they get then thrown into sex rings of abuse. And I'm talking about, of course, what happens to a lot of the children that are pushed towards entering this country, and eventually you even saw the scenes, they get even thrown off the wall. So what happens to them? What happens to them? Well, China has the solution, and Joe Biden too. What they have devised is totally diabolical. We're talking about a pedophile, because Joe Biden is a pedophile. Now, regardless of what political inclinations you have. Basically, these contracts indicate the Biden administration is set to spend over $500 million on Chinese-backed luxury camp for illegal alien migrant children. Basically, they are opening a campus that will be has been renamed the Greensboro Piedmont Academy Influx Care Facility. That sounds to me like a pedophile Disneyland. I mean, it's like, welcome to the place where they can abuse your children. Because this is what they're doing here. They are building a structure that would be open to abuse, left, right, and center, bringing there all the children. And then, on top of that, this facility is built with the help of China on US soil. I don't find this it's incredible. Okay, they have 88,000 square foot athletic center and all these beautiful things, soccer stadium, baseball fields, wow. But this is the kind of place where pedophiles will be running rampant. an international school. So basically, in addition to 16 single-sex dormitory houses and 34 staff resident apartments, the Academy had 32 buildings, including, I mean, it's incredible. But I repeat, this is an opportunity for the Biden administration and its pedophiles to have something. And by the way, the site is the former American Hebrew Academy that closed in 2019, but was saved with millions of dollars in loans from a Chinese company that effectively took over the school. So, totally insane, but that's how it is. And let's move forward. We have yet more interesting news. I'm not going to say much about this news. I mean, I've heard it also from other sources. There has been suspect deaths of many Canadian doctors in the last few weeks. As many as 6 of them have died, like this Getaway Pundit article points out. And why did they die? Well, the question I can't answer, because otherwise they will bring down this video. So you can just imagine the answer. You can imagine the answer. I give you the question, but you can imagine the fact that, of course, these people taken that experimental BS inside them, and that's it. Credible, eh? What happens in Canada? But Canada, we know, it's a libtard paradise. So, will this situation with China ignite a third world war? Of course. Of course. It's like we have seen the rise of the bear. The bear. So we're talking here about, of course, the apocalypse. We are seeing now the rise of the dragon. So these animals appear in the book of Revelation, each one depicting, of course, a specific country. The beast of Revelation that, of course, has the feet of a bear and a mouth like a lion. The bear in the book of Revelation is a subject that was indicated in this interesting article by the New Mexican, Santa Fe New Mexican, which is basically this one. Putin, the bear, and the book of Revelation. Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine has made the book of Revelation relevant once again. The final book of the New Testament, with its apocalyptic visions of multi-headed dragons, plagues, vials of judgment, the whore of Babylon, and the battle of Armageddon, has confounded readers for millennia. Written most likely at the end of the first century, we know the story, of course, in Patmos by St. John the Evangelist. And of course, the establishment of the State of Israel was another confirmation of this prophetic message which we have in the book of Revelation, but also we have now another relevant element, because after the bear, of course, which symbolizes Russia, we have, of course, the dragon. The dragon, the symbol is pretty clear now, the symbol of China, and what does the dragon do in the book of Revelation. So, as you can see, it's all happening in front of our eyes. And the dragon in Revelation 12:1 is then another sign appeared in the heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on his heads, will unleash itself on earth. His tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. So here we have another element. another element that, of course, we can see it's pretty apocalyptic and provides us with a doomsday scenario. China iconic symbol is a dragon, hence the title that the Gateway Pundit article gave here. The next 2 weeks could be two of the most dangerous in the history of the United States, because it appears Joe Biden and his clueless national security team are bumbling their way towards a showdown with China that is fraught with the peril of war. The Chinese government now rejects the One China policy that has been the foundation of the US-Chinese relation for 43 years. And so that means that the move that the United States is making to recognize, of course, Taiwan further by visiting Taiwan. Now, the United States did, of course, talk with China recently. Joe Biden talked with Xi Jinping. But as this article states, when the United States moved to recognize the People of the Republic of China, PRC, and they recognized the Republic of China in 1979, the United States stated that the government of the People's Republic of China was the sole legal government of China. So at that point, they recognized Communist China, and that was a move that was created behind the scenes thanks to George Bush Sr. and Barbara Bush, who for a long time, until the middle of the 70s, lived in Beijing. They spent a lot of time in Beijing, in China, to facilitate this. The United States did not, however, give in to Chinese demands that it recognize Chinese sovereignty over Taiwan. So we never legally recognized, at least, the Chinese communist rule over Taiwan. Which is the name preferred by the United States since it opted to recognize the ROC, and it was called also the island of Formosa. Instead, Washington acknowledged the Chinese position at the time it was part of China. For geopolitical reasons, both the United States and the PRC were willing to go forward with diplomatic recognition despite their differences on this matter. The Chinese are now unwielding on their claim of sovereignty over Taiwan. It does not matter anymore that Washington threatens action in China, takes any steps to impose its sovereignty. China is going to demonstrate its sovereignty. Why is this happening? I mean, we have, of course, also Kissinger talking. Kissinger said it very clearly in this book, which I also cited in volume 7 of my Confessions. This book says it very clearly here. It says that basically President Eisenhower threatening at the time, because we have to understand it was the 50s, the non-nuclear People's Republic of China, if it did not de-escalate, remarked that he saw no reason why tactical nuclear weapons could not be used just exactly as you will use a bullet or anything else. So they were ready to use nukes after Hiroshima, after Nagasaki. Once again, nothing happened. Like Kissinger says here, nearly 7 decades later, no leader has yet tested this proposition. Instead, during the Cold War, the overriding objective of nuclear strategy became deterrence. So basically, bullshit. Well, bullshit you bullshit me. We have a big weapon, you have another big weapon, but nothing really happens. So the strategy worked out for decades, because China simply didn't have the nuclear arsenal it has nowadays. Hello to my friend Thomas Freyr, old friend from Iceland, I see here on my Facebook. And so this is what we are seeing now. China has hundreds of nuclear missiles, has an hypersonic. Actually, they have a much better hypersonic nuclear. I mean, we don't even have an hypersonic nuclear missile at the moment, because we are testing them here still in Southern California with results that have been basically failures. So they have the hypersonic, they have this, they have that, but at the same time, to annoy America even further, they have unleashed North Korea. North Korea, in the midst of all this chaos, you have, of course, North Korea. I mean, nobody gives a damn about North Korea, but North Korea is a little bit like it's a little bit like
It has FOMO, fear of missing out.
no. It's like a
That was a joke.
it's like a bulldog that China uses. Just lets loose leash. Takes off the leash and go loose on the West. And that's what really North Korea does. And North Korea at the moment, it's really, guys, having a lot of trouble internally with, of course, a lot of COVID cases. And then that, it was never taken seriously. But we know this is also a biological warfare. It's a war, and the North Korea, though, at this point, decided to threaten the United States of America, nuclear strike on the U.S. Just because in the last 24 hours, guys, nuclear strikes have been basically, as the United States, we have been threatened in 24 hours by Russia, North Korea, and China. If I was an American, I would personally go. I'm not yet an American. That's the problem. Because I would personally like to go to Washington and say, what are you doing? Are you basically jeopardizing the life of the United States of America? You people in Washington, D.C. are a bunch of idiots, criminals, lackeys of these people. I mean, in 24 hours, we get threatened left, right, and center by these people, and we don't react because we don't have the fucking balls. Because we have a bunch of generals who will dress up as a woman. Guys, the wrath of God is going to be so strong. Every one of you will be crying. Every one of you, not one, everyone. And there will be people begging. There is no begging when the time comes. Either you take the right path with God now, because later there will be no forgiveness. Especially after the willing will be lining up in front of the Apple stores to get microchipped or whatnot. So there will be, of course, the millennials are completely brainwashed. We know how they are. But there is some young conservatives who have tried to change things in a way. But they have, of course, been criticized. And they have even been accused of being neo-Nazis by the usual people of the view. Talking here about the usual fat Whoopi Goldberg. She's just a fat creator more than a content creator or a presenter. But she has offered 2 days ago a personal apology after linking Turning Point USA to neo-Nazis. Because, see, that is what has been happening this week on the news, and we are reporting it for you. We also would like to have your support so we can bring you many more shows, guys. Like I said, we think we are worth a little bit more than what is currently being offered to us, but whatever. So, Whoopi Goldberg offers personal apology after linking Turning Point USA to neo-Nazi demonstrators. Turning Point USA, it's an organization that, of course, not all of you will know about. It's about young students. It's about young students. It had guested the other day President Donald J. Trump for their speech. They are, of course, a legitimate organization of conservatives. They are not neo-Nazis. Fox Nation brings Turning Point USA Student Action Summit to viewers everywhere. In fact, and of course here you have Charlie Kirk, who is the mind of this whole operation. But let me show you something here. First of all, let me show you the Whoopi Goldberg, the View, and in the meantime, let's just have a Hunter by the moment. It's just out of the blue, just to remind you who is in charge in the White House.
hands go there.
I don't understand you.
The other hands go here.
Oh.
Yes, yes. So we are neo-Nazis. Sure, we are neo-Nazis. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. His best friend is the chief of Chinese intelligence. But don't worry. We are the guys to blame. I mean, it's just insane, huh?
2022. Well, no, he did that a while ago.
No,
Don't film yourself smoking crack. You're gonna end up on the internet.
no, but I mean, we are in the hands of a guy who is basically smoking crack, and his father, who thinks the Americans have got $8,000 from him. I don't know why.
What?
One of the things that I find is I look at and I take it very seriously, the confidence level of the American people in the economy, and they're so down and they're looking. There's reason to be down, but I started thinking about it, and Brian, you and I talked about it just a little bit.
Yeah, think about this. How is it? Huh? Think about this. Okay.
We were able to, with the rescue plan, we were able to send them a check for $8 grand.
$8 grand?
I don't understand you.
The other hands go here.
Woo! $8 grand.
One, and beyond that, by the way.
Not beyond that?
We were able to send them a check for $8 grand.
Why are
A
they
check.
sending money to China?
No, not money to China. It's $8 grand to us. It's
Oh, they send money to us?
Yes. Do you receive $8 grand?
No.
He definitely received more than $8 grand.
Maybe they sent it to him.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. He's being taking all the money.
And beyond that, by the way, there's more than that.
Beyond that.
If you're making 120 grand.
I mean, all this.
That's a lot of money. And so it helped save a lot of people in terms of getting thrown out of their homes. And
Yeah, it helped.
I don't understand you.
The other hands go.
housing and a whole range of things. But I started thinking about it, just as a, somebody who's raised a middle-class kid. 1 year, even though you didn't have the job you have now, even though you didn't get a...
But you have the crack. He has the crack, actually. He doesn't have a job. He has the...
The difference between having a job, having a 5% raise or whatever, 3, 5, 7, whatever it happens to be, in the face of inflation, price of the pump, although that's down every day.
Yeah.
I don't understand you.
The other hand goes here.
Oh. I don't understand you.
It's like, whoa.
What is that?
Worse off. But then again, I didn't get a check for $8 grand from the government. They just, among other things.
He got it.
Oh.
Who has been smoking crack here? Because we didn't get the check for $8 grand. So we wonder if even the father is smoking crack. I mean, definitely smoking something. Because, I mean, what the hell? What do you think, huh?
Oh, no comment.
No?
I don't understand you.
I would like to understand where he has to put, where she needs to put the hand.
Go here.
Oh.
Where does she have to put
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying a word.
Jeez, man. I need to understand. I'm Italian. I don't understand the hand.
Well, you should understand. You're Italian.
The hand.
I don't know. Maybe it's in his butt. I don't know.
Okay. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. Please share this video immediately. So not tomorrow, not in 10 minutes. Now! Because
Share it.
yeah, because we are really, guys, showing you a lot of things that you need to to see, especially how, no? Because of course we had the view accusing a Turning Point of being neo-Nazis, but they didn't just do it because they wanted to do it, you know, like, okay, in the meantime, let's see what happened here, the sue against the view for what they said, and then we will show you the images of Soros-paid fake neo-Nazi infiltrating Turning Point.
Charlie Kirk's the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept the View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to neo-Nazis. But look, what did it take for us to get to the point of an apology? We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to walk away with it. And the reason they felt they needed to do that, Jesse, is because if they told their audience the truth, that when gas is the most expensive it's been, flights are super expensive, that 5,000 kids decided to spend a weekend in summer traveling across the country to go hear from conservative speakers, maybe the audience of The View would think twice about all of their ideas. That's why they felt so compelled to try to smear our wonderful summit this last weekend.
Yeah, they have nothing else to talk about. Maybe you should get the lawyer that worked on that Covington Catholic school case.
Well, that's a good idea. That's definitely a good idea. But what happened at the Turning Point is even more incredible, because what happened was that while The View was accusing them, they had created this scenario with these fake neo-Nazis, but they were exposed. They were exposed because they didn't want to take off their silly mask and whatnot. These are paid actors who want to delegitimize the conservative movement with this hideous anti-Semitic and Nazi propaganda pushed within the Turning Point event. Check this out.
This has been many years of work.
Okay, sorry.
And you're hiding. That's all you You're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody. I'm the one fighting against you with my face wide open.
George Soros told me to come here.
If you're so proud, take your mask off. Stop hiding. Take it off. Come on. Nobody gives a show us who you really are.
They say, why don't you take your mask? Why don't you show us who you are? The conservatives. Show if you know, why you're hiding. And this paid protester, you know.
You're so scared to sneeze, you pull out that
You're a coward. You're a coward. Take your mask off. Take your mask off. Hey, what we're doing? What we're done? Show your.
So they didn't show their faces, confirming what we already knew. These people are paid actors pretending to be neo-Nazis, while another paid agent, which is Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, she's not even called Goldberg. She's basically, like Bruce saying, a fake Jew. She's not a real Jew. She's pretending to be Jewish. Well,
Why?
because she wanted to be accepted in Hollywood, and she was very successful. So, but the incredible thing about these
Plants. Yeah, 100%
plants, these are plants, and unfortunately they were exposed. But of course, you know, they were planted there So then they could say, you see, you have neo-Nazis at here. You are neo-Nazis. The whole turning point are neo-Nazis. And we had, of course, at the turning point event, the speech of Donald J. Trump, who has said something that I really share with you, because I believe it's a great thing he finally did. I mean, he was the one who, as we all know, has been responsible for this, I want to call them vaccines. But in the end, President Trump is promising a turning point at the event organized by Turning Point Act now, to rehire all the military that Biden has been firing for refusing.
Oh, that's
this
so good.
thing.
We have to abolish all COVID mandates and lockdowns, rehire every patriot who was shamefully fired from the military with an apology. We have to give them an apology and all of their back pay.
Somebody
We
said,
have to-
if I ever research the brilliant Victorian societies, yes, there is a book I wrote about it, Invisible Master, that you can purchase. And there is plenty of my research on that book, Invisible Master. And then, like Sean said, I also lectured at InfoWars on it a while ago. So we are here today, and we just saw former President Trump, who is, of course, preparing possibly for returning in the White House in 2024. This time, I don't think there will be this kind of almost equal balance between the left and the right, so they could maybe push, no? And this time, I think that with the midterms election, we would see a landslide, and then later on, we would probably see another landslide in the presidential election. But that's why, guys, the Democrats know that they will be losing, and for that reason, they're pushing for a full-on global war that will, of course, stop everybody from even exiting their own houses at that point, and they can maybe do what they already did during the pandemic. Yes.
So do you think that with the scenario, if you were going to predict the scenario for the future, is there two running scenarios?
Well,
It's like, are they going to drop a nuclear bomb? And then, I mean, I imagine if that happens, then the whole world is blown up. So how are we supposed to be locked in?
First of all, nuclear bomb is dirty bombs, which are like terrorist-built bombs.
You said that.
It's different from missile bombs. Missile bombs, then we will be already talking about the Mad Max scenario at that point, of course.
Because if we were in the Mad Max scenario, nobody can lock up. You know,
well, Corey says,
in the desert.
Brother Corey says we had a landslide in 2020. I don't believe it was a landslide. Unfortunately, there's also a lot of idiots in this country. You just go out of your door, dear Corey, and see how many idiots believe in the Democratic Party. People who are brain dead, who have invaded Arizona, maybe from California and stuff. It's full of them. Libtards. They are people who are sick in their head. But, like I said, the midterm elections will be a landslide. And I'm sure the presidential election will be a landslide too, because who's going to vote for, you have to be a masochist. You have to be somebody who likes pain if you want to vote you want to increase your gasoline from $2 to $6, $7, $8, $10, vote for the Democrats. You want to basically throw away your gasoline car simply because we need to spend $60,000 for an electric car? Vote Democrat. You want to basically abort your child. You actually can kill your child until the moment it comes out, even after it comes out. Vote Democrat. You want to basically stand with Satan? Vote Democrat. You want to, a minority that 10 years ago, the Atlantic, talking about the Atlantic, is a liberal publication, said there were 2% of homosexuals in America. Now, suddenly, the official statistics are 5%, and for the new generations, 20%. Everybody's gay? No. I know, but I want to, I mean, even apart from Palm Springs, California, where we have 50% of the population is homosexual, and that's great. Here, we have to admit that at the national level, that's not the scenario. That's not the scenario.
Yeah.
So honesty, first of all, honesty. Not that we all have to become suddenly homosexuals. Simply because the New World Order needs to castrate the modern man so we can produce less kids and they can live better in their elitarian surroundings. But that's what's happening here. So vote Democrat if you want that. Vote Democrat if, of course, you want to pay 10 times more for food. If you want to have problems, still ongoing problems with the chain distribution. I mean, Buttigieg is, of course, he's been a father for the last 10 months. He's been busy with his little children. This guy should take care of America. There is a bunch of ships still waiting outside of the port of Long Beach, Los Angeles. This is basically what is happening right now. But if you wanted to continue, you can vote Democrat. If you want to live in front of your woke Netflix all your life, surrounded by demented things like, okay, Alexa like or this other, how we call it? How is this? How are you called? This artificial intelligence. What's the name of this?
What's your name?
What's your name? Artificial intelligence. They don't answer. What's your name? Artificial intelligence. What's your name? The artificial intelligence is answering, but it's not. No, it's listening, but it's not answering. What is that? I'm trying to get an answer from this artificial intelligence.
Is Trump the best president that ever lived?
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri, this is Siri. Yeah. Siri,
Siri.
This is Siri. No, Alexa, you can get from, I think Alexa is the other one. Now the one.
Amazon.
Amazon. Then you have, how is it, the Google one called? I don't know. You don't understand. Do you understand your name?
Maybe they don't understand your English, your Italian accent.
Can you understand my Italian accent?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Parlez-vous français?
Here's what I found.
Well, they're not conscious yet. At least that's what they say. The artificial intelligence is the one that is changing the world. I mean, if you think about it, everything will be changed by the artificial intelligence. What do you think, Christy, of artificial intelligence?
It's very creepy.
Creepy, eh?
Mm.
Why is that?
Because it's a robot. And because of everything that you say about them.
I know. This is
I don't trust them.
It's like,
I don't talk to the Alexa. I don't have one.
Well, but the Alexa is listening to you, I'm sure. Huh?
Well, it would be very bored. Very, very bored if it's listening.
Is Alexa an AI? Is Amazon Alexa AI? Then Amazon Digital Voice Assistant is one of the market leaders. What is an AI? Answer the questions. And this is a voice-controlled digital virtual assistant. And then, of course, we bow down to this.
Because people are lazy, and then they want Alexa to do everything for them, like turn on the light, and turn on the TV, and turn off the light, and turn on the music.
Sean says it's more of a listening post for Recon than AI. Well, definitely they can listen and record everything you do, but they will then report it to their headquarters, and the AI will elaborate further and see if you can know what you're doing in your daily life, what you consume, what you not consume. That is what's happening. I remember when many years ago, before Snowden even came out with his revelations, I heard about there was a scandal around 2011 that was quickly put aside, and it was a scandal regarding Apple. Apple was in trouble because apparently in their terms, hidden in their terms of use, there was the fact that they could trace every move you do with their phones, with their, and it was like a scandal, but it was a scandal that lasted basically very little, because then and nobody really thought much about it, and that was the beginning. Only the we're talking about many years ago. Now we are in a much different situation in which the artificial intelligence wants to actually elaborate and understand you further before the complete takeover that will happen within the next 8 years, when the AI will literally take over your life. And that is really what Henry Kissinger says in this book, but it's also what I've been talking about in this book regarding the Ahriman and the Antichrist takeover aided by the cyber Satan. And it's also, of course, the subject of another of my books, which is volume 6.66. I also would like you to purchase my wife's books. It's both volume 1 but also volume 2. It's very important because this book explains you a little bit how we made it here to the US and how we survived from our adventures back in Europe, in Italy in particular, where, of course, they wanted to arrest me, kill me, poison me, and what not. Yeah. But nowadays, I want to comment about. Please.
Because I really like to watch trials. You know, I watch court trials all the time.
Yes.
That's my fun time. I don't know why. Maybe I should have been a lawyer. But I've been watching the Alex Jones thing.
How was that?
And it just gives me a lot of memories of what you went through, because the lawyers, the prosecution, the lawyers completely are they're biased. And you can see it clearly. You don't even have to have an opinion about it. It's very obvious. And it's obvious that they're colluding with the judge. I mean, you can see it on the breaks, the way they talk to each other. And they're very, very buddy-buddy, laughing, having a good time. And I've been so angry. I've been so mad watching it because it's so unfair. I know he lost already, but I mean, he's up against some really evil people. Poor Alex. So we need to pray for him. Everybody that supports Alex and InfoWars.
And definitely, like somebody is saying here in the chat, the courts are definitely not neutral any longer when it comes down to conservatives. And so when you actually go in front of a court, is usually a kangaroo court. These people have been instructed to act this way, because often the district attorneys, the judges, they are all on the payroll of George Soros. At the same time, they are the fruit, the result of that disaster, which was 1968, and the takeover of our universities and schools by the left. And unfortunately, it's never really recovered since then. We have never really recovered since then. These people have been literally educated not to think that they have the moral high ground.
It's really unfair. It's supposed to be the justice system, and only one side is being, shown.
Somebody's asking, can I purchase entire set autographed? Only if we organize
it. That would be really something.
But it will definitely happen maybe in the future if we have an event in person, which we would like to organize maybe next year here in Palm Springs or around here in the Coachella Valley or maybe Yucca Valley, where we can maybe invite, like we did already once in Yucca Valley when we arrived here in the US, those people who are interested in maybe a nice book conference from me.
You've done 3.
Well, yeah, but then I stopped. We had the pandemic, and people are inviting me to go to places north of California, Arizona. Guys, with these gasoline prices, where are you going to go? Let's be realistic. The only possibility we have is to maybe do a Zoom kind of, which is sad, or Skype, but it's not because I don't want to do them. It's simply because I don't have the money to go to the other side of America at the moment. My relatives invited me. There was a family reunion.
Yeah, don't remind me.
In New York, in Brooklyn. I have a family reunion in Brooklyn. I was invited. I have a lot of relatives here I have a lot of relatives here in the United States. My relatives, Sicilian Americans, have done very well here in the US. And I want to really go, but I'm not going to take a plane.
I figured it out. It's like $2,000.
$2,000 with the current cost of gasoline to go from Palm Springs all the way to New York City. That's for sure.
Oh, we take callers.
We will be taking callers very soon, but of course, we are also discussing, as you know, the subject of today. And the subject of today regards, as you know, what is happening with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, this woman, to be at the center of attention, will do anything, even triggering the Third World War. That would be, you know. So, former U.S. Secretary of State Kissinger has warned that the Biden administration should focus on the common strategic interests of U.S. and China, rather than allowing U.S. policy toward China being heavily driven by American politics. Then the potential crisis of Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan must be diffused from Kissinger's realpolitik perspective. Now, the problem here is that if it wasn't for Henry Kissinger, we wouldn't have this problem. If it wasn't for Henry Kissinger opening up China to the rest of the world in the 70s, if it wasn't for those assholes like Nixon, like George Bush Sr., and both of them, fortunately, the Republican neocons have ruined this country just as much as the Democrats, guys. We have to be very honest about it. We opened up to China simply because we needed, you know, their labor to make cheap things, you know, because they have cheap labor, so then we could. Now Henry Kissinger, though, is warning, of course, the Joe Biden that there is a danger here, the dangerous escalation that could end up with a Third World War. We already have a war which is happening in Europe. We don't need another war. We don't need also another theater, the Pacific theater. It's definitely incredible. But the 2-hour phone discussion between US President Biden and President Xi Jinping emphasized basically that the US should not play with fire over the Taiwan issue, and that China does not allow any space for any form of Taiwan independence. Just leave them this Taiwan island. Who gives a damn? Well, we give a damn because, of course, they are the biggest producers in the world of microchips, and without them, we can't have cars, things, everything. So what happens here is, like, if the war starts, suddenly, boom, all the industries, all our computers, everything, poof, because we don't get them anymore from China, we don't get them from Taiwan, we basically are finito. That's it. So it is a very, very risky situation that we are seeing at the moment. We will be opening now the phone lines. Christy's happy. Christy, what do you think of Nancy Pelosi always trying to be at the center of attention, now starting a Third World War? I mean, should she worry about... She would
be the one to do it.
She's totally evil. I mean, she and her ice cream in the fridge, expensive ice cream. Remember expensive ice cream? In the middle of the pandemic, people were struggling and she was sharing her thousands of dollars of ice cream. Whoa. Okay. I'm here. The lines are open. We are, of course, going to have to give you this phone line for those who don't have the number. Christy, would you like to remind the viewers the phone number?
I forgot it.
I'm sure
970
and
577-6369.
Brava Christy, Brava Christy. Okay. Here we are. Yes, we have seen Nancy Pelosi with her demented boobs on the beach of Bocelli, the singer, the Italian singer, has a private beach inviting Nancy.
I didn't see that.
Welcome to the Leo Zagami show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Leo and Christy. It's Shelley from Wisconsin.
Oh, welcome, Shelley. So, what's up with you today? What do you think is about to happen here? We have Nancy Pelosi who is creating a possible scenario that will unleash the Third World War. What's your take on that?
Well, she's drunk and high, so who knows what she's going to do.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
And,
what do you think?
I don't know, I don't know if, it's going to be a nuclear war or whatever. I had kind of a different question.
Yes.
Because we know Trump is probably going to run again, and he's talking about, firing a bunch of people. Do you think they're going to arrest him? And if they do arrest him, what do you think is going to happen?
No, I mean, I don't think Trump will be arrested. You have to understand the one thing, that when you have half of America on your side and all the money that Trump has, I don't think it's very much possible to be arrested. The people who get arrested usually are the people who can't afford lawyers. I think Trump can afford lawyers. The problem is that they are trying to not let him candidate himself for the presidency. That's why he's been kind of hinting on it, but not really officializing it, because he's trying to get the enemy to take out all the things they have against him before he candidates himself, because he doesn't, of course, want to create a problem that will eventually facilitate maybe the election of a rival like DeSantis. I personally like very much DeSantis. I actually think that he's probably at the moment one of the best politicians we have, and he's much younger and could take the pressure for the next 4 years. However, having said that, we all know that Trump has also still big support, but I think that personally their main aim is not to have him arrested, it's simply to have him out of the picture for the presidential run of 2024. So that is my answer, and we will move on to the next viewer. Remember, you can call. We are broadcasting live from Palm Springs, California. +1 970 577 6369 +1 970 577 6369. And thank you to that caller from Wisconsin. We always like to receive phone calls from him. Welcome to the Leo Zagami show. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Sometimes we have this problem. There is either a heavy breather, but I don't think it's a heavy breather.
It's never a heavy breather.
It's somebody who can't listen to us. Knock.
I must be on hold.
No, you're not. I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Maybe. Maybe you should listen. Put the headphones. Listen to me from the. I'm listening to you. He can't listen to me. Well, we will be taking.
What is it? SRS connection?
I don't know. I think sometimes they sabotage us because we're too popular.
Oh.
Because even with only a few hundred viewers, when we do our live shows, we receive an increasing amount of phone calls. That is.
Don't speak too soon.
Okay, we have reopened the phone line to see if we can get maybe follow up on the phone call that wasn't capable of going through. +1 970 577 6369, and we will continue, of course, with the news of the day. 35 minutes past the hour. We still have 25 minutes for our show. We, of course, ask for your support. You can support us through GoFundMe or also through GoFundMe or Fundme. Welcome to the Leo Zagami show. Who am I talking with and where are you calling from?
Hi, Leo. This is Sean in Riverside. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes,
Hi.
I can hear you. Welcome, Sean. So what do you think of the subject we brought up today with Taiwan and the possibility of another war scenario?
Well, I'm loving it. I wanted to be brief so your other callers will have time. Just wanted to tell you to keep looking sharp and handsome. And Christy, keep looking beautiful. Loving the coverage. I'm kind of all drug out from a long night of moderating conference calls and other stuff.
Oh, wow.
But just wanted to give you guys your props and being the whistleblower of whistleblowers, like I said in the chat. So we all love you. We're all praying for you. I'm going to get off the line and let you get the next caller.
Thank you very much, Sean. And we have already another phone call. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. Where are you calling from and what's your name? Hello? This is one of those callers that unfortunately is not managing to go through, but we want to thank a Riverside caller because, of course, he's an old friend here of our show and he seems to be enjoying it today. We are, of course, here trying to answer to everybody. I even received a message. Yes, a message. Yes, a message about.
What was that?
A message that was sent to us. We are, of course, waiting for your phone calls. +1 970 577 6369. Are you there? Are you there? You want to join the Leo Zagami Show? You want to speak with Leo or Christy? Hello, Christy. Okay. More to say about the.
Answer.
Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. Who am I talking with?
Hey, Leo, this is Bill from Connecticut. How you doing, Leo Christy?
Hi.
Hey there, from Connecticut. Welcome on the Leo Zagami Show. What do you think of the subject of today? Should we be worried a little bit about all these nuclear threats from Russia, North Korea, China? I mean, it seems like anybody out there wants to kick our ass.
No.
Yeah, well, Leo, I think if we're looking from the... Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. We just had another phone line. I don't know how it came in. So don't worry. Continue.
Well, keep in mind, what's his name? Xi Jinping spoke at the 2017 World Economic Forum. I think Trump spoke in 2020. Of course, Gates was a keynote speaker, I think, this year. And we have the World Health Organization, all their collusions. Do you think it's possible that this is just worth...
Don't worry. We have this little dysfunction. So if you hear the noise, just go on. Don't worry. We hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Like more political theater. All wars are bankers' wars, it seems, from the banking international settlements. Even if you look at the new monetary,
we seem to have like
looking at the new monetary
but
alliance of the BRICS,
yes.
The BRICS nations. Only Brazil is the only one who resisted the vaccine, Bolsonaro. So, do we really have any?
Is
it not more like a big oligarchy? Do you know what I mean? Like, is this just political theater we're seeing? You think? Leo?
Well, we definitely, like I said, have some theater regarding people like Kissinger then bringing in his heavyweight and criticizing Joe Biden, but at the same time, we all know they are in bed together and live happily ever after. Yes, I will answer. You can hear me?
I can finally hear you.
Okay, so as you have two listeners, I don't know why we're getting two listeners at the same time. We will finish with our previous call and then we will march into the other one.
So just hang on.
Just hang on, and we will continue now with Connecticut. So it is definitely there is a degree of political theater, and of course this is the New World Order. The New World Order that is finally shifting from an American-centric New World Order to a Sino-Russian New World Order, like I, of course, predicted in my book, Volume 7. And this shift is going to be a painful one. So there is a lot of theater from Joe Biden regarding China, but let's see the facts. Here we have a guy who basically is in bed with China. So can we trust him in any way? No. Can we trust Nancy Pelosi to really be on the side of Taiwan, or is this just a nice way of triggering the Third World War? Because in a way, you know, if we have an accident, even a minor accident against Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan, we know that that is the beginning of the end.
And she's an accident waiting to happen.
She's an accident waiting to happen. So definitely there is some degree of political fear, that there is also the sad reality that they want to go to the next stage to eliminate 3/4 of the population of this planet. So we have to also keep that in mind, that these people have a plan. That plan that was in front of our eyes until they destroyed it, but when they destroyed it, they are, in a way, that happened when they bombed the Georgia Guidestones, they are destroying evidence about their criminal activities. So I think that definitely we are seeing a scenario in which we can't really trust anything that is said and anything that we see. I mean, if Nancy is triggering a confrontation, can we trust that she is really on the side of Taiwan? No. How can she be on the side of Taiwan when, like I said, she has even business ties in the past with China? And we know that Nancy Pelosi likes to make money, because her and her husband are in it for the money, and not in it for the people. So, theater, tension, and then finally an excuse to start this war. It seems like it's pretty obvious here what is happening. I hope that we can all avoid this scenario, which will definitely bring America to its knees. But isn't that what they want?
Yeah, well, I was going to add, thank you for that analysis. Obviously, the whole idea with the NAFTA, the Beijing Free Trade Agreement, the Asian Free Trade Agreement, the Trans-Pacific Pact, was to shift our manufacturing, as you said, all to China, India, you know, where the labor costs are minimal, environmental regulations not exist in labor regulations. And by doing that, of course, they completely eroded the middle class, and a huge exodus of manufacturing companies and jobs. And clearly the agenda is
in the end,
the bankrupt.
Yes, but all those people who lose their job, in favor of who they lose their job? In favor of some Chinese who is building the same thing cheaper in China. So, I mean, it's up to us to stop those politicians in Washington to be in bed with China. And that's not going to happen, because anybody we send to Washington is unfortunately corruptible, because that is the weakness of our democracy. That is the weakness that I have underlined in this book also. You know, we think, I mean, a republic on which we stand is a great opportunity, but it was made by people who really had some great ideals and also some great morals, ethics, when they created this country. But those morals and ethics are not present in both our political parties today. So, and that is a big problem. But thank you very much. Unfortunately, we will have to move on to our next caller as time is running out. But thank you for calling. And we have, thank you for calling. We have another person online who's been waiting. Where are you calling from?
Hello, Leo, and hello, Christy.
Hi.
Again, this is Gary from Oklahoma. One of your regulars.
Hello, Gary. So, what do you think of what's happening?
Well, it's more about what I know.
Yes.
I don't have that much of an opinion on it. What I have is an experience that's formed my opinion for me, and that's what I'm going to go with. And I think you want to hear this. I think everyone needs to hear this real quick. I spent
a second before you start.
20 years.
Before you start, I wanted to answer to somebody in the chat saying Klaus Schwab's son lives in China. Yes, and we talked about it in my book. Klaus Schwab, of course, has a lot of interest with China.
Oh, you're all over it.
Yeah. So please.
Yeah, you're all over with it. That's what I'm talking about is China. I'm on par with your subject here. In Billings, Montana, I spent 19 years there, and I worked for a while there as a journalist and as a reporter for a major newspaper and publishing company. I did a lot of things, and I interviewed a lot of people. I got to know a lot of people. And something happened to me there that completely destroyed me, and it had to do with China, and I'll tell you how I know. I was wrapped up in some things online and some situations that involved the military, and different things like that I can't go into detail about right now. However, this is what happened. I had a girlfriend. She was considerably younger than me. She got pregnant. I brought her to the hospital for a OBGYN checkup where they use a wand. What they do is they put a wand in you, and then they can take a photograph. That's part of the procedure. Check the health of the 8-week-old that's inside of your loved one's belly there. Okay, so that's what we did. We went there. We were waiting in the room. And then one person enters the room. He's a man close to my age. Now, I'm 51 years old. I'm immediately suspicious because he's by himself. There's no female nurse with him. I think that's odd and peculiar. He comes in, and the first thing he says is that he is from China and that he is an intern and that he'll be doing the procedure. Okay, and I'm automatically suspicious because of different online activities that I'm aware of that it involves me. That involved Chinese intel officers trying to contact me. Okay, and so what happened was this. I was nervous, but I didn't want to be labeled a racist because, that's a real popular thing right now to be labeled a racist. If you bring up any kind of suspicion of anybody outside the white race, you're a racist. That's it, hands down. Okay, so I'm like, okay, look, I'm not going to do anything that even resembles a racist here. I'm going to put that aside, put my guard down for a minute here because that's what we're being told to do. Put your guard down for everybody and be all inclusive. Well, this is what happened. He put that wand up in my girlfriend, and he did a procedure where he pulled up on that wand so hard that it caused her to scream. And he pulled that wand out and ended a procedure right then and there. I said, what are you doing? We got in an argument. I told him it's not supposed to hurt. She's not supposed to scream. What are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. I said, did you even take a photograph? He said, no, you didn't ask. And I said, wait a second. I don't have to ask. It's part of the procedure. I don't know. You should have asked. You should have said something. This man, this is what happened. That baby miscarried within 24 hours of that procedure. Now, I know what happened right there. I know what I was going through, and I know what I'm going through right now. My grandfather, Albert Hervey Hardiman, was part of the JFK assassination, part of one of the hit teams. And he became the Zodiac Killer, and I've got all the proof there is. I just solved the cipher key. I did. It's my name and a second name that make up the cipher key. So there's no denying who wrote that cipher. Okay? What you see is counterintelligence online all over the place. It's not Gary Posty. It's Gary. That's me.
But
the other half is not Posty.
Yes. What is the regarding what's happening now? What is your question regarding what's happening?
My question is, I don't have a question. Our hospitals and more than that, there was
are falling basically.
Counterintelligence officer picked up in the police department in New York, and they got him. We've been infiltrated already.
And so they are basically being infiltrated by China. Basically, this is what you're saying. And
we've already been infiltrated by China. They're killing us. They're killing babies in the womb. They are already in our hospitals. They're in our police departments. They're in our society. It's already that way.
So you are saying that a vagina ultrasound basically, became an abortion procedure.
They performed a technique that ensures an abortion. Yes. First of all, he put some kind of substance on the wand. Okay, so you got a substance on the wand.
Well, okay, they do that.
He could pull up. He pulls up on the end. When he jerked up on the end, it caused the other end, the fulcrum of the other end, to press into the embryo, and it broke the sac, and it killed the 8-week-old baby that was growing, and it miscarried within 24 hours. That's what happened.
Wow, man! And this seems to be really an incredible story. That sorry for what you went through. We are, of course, as you know, running out of time. We have yet a little bit more news that we would like to offer to our viewers. One of the things that I picked up from the news of this week, which I think is worth watching, is basically when a Fox News journalist asked the usual spokesperson, the black lady with who is the spokesperson there at the White House, what was happening with the wall, if they were actually building a wall in Arizona Well, the answer is incredible. Check this out.
Why is the Biden administration building a border wall in Arizona?
So we're not finishing the wall. We are cleaning up the mess the prior administration left behind in their failed attempt.
A mess. A mess. A mess. You are a mess. For the first time, we discovered also that they're so obsessed with communism and red hair is their symbol that even a black lady had to dye her hair red. I mean, she's... huh? So they went from redhead to redhead.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, but there seems to be an obsession here with redheads.
To build a wall, and I just want to be very, very clear here. On day one, we returned the money, the $8 billion the prior administration took from our military. We gave that back to the military for military families, for schools, for bases. That's what that money was being used. That's what it was taken away from. And so, again, what we're doing is cleaning up the mess that the prior administration has done.
But President...
The mess that the prior administration has done! What bunch of...
That's not true.
Biden, when he was a candidate, said, there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration.
Yeah.
So what changed?
We are not finishing the wall.
If walls work in that part of Arizona, is this the administration trying to get migrants to cross somewhere else, like in Texas? What is the plan?
We are not finishing a wall. We are cleaning up the mess that the prior administration made. We are trying to save lives. This is what the prior administration left behind that we are now cleaning up.
I think the problem is it's not the color of her hair. The problem is what she has under the hair and in her head. I think she has really a lot of problems in understanding things, but she's also has a lot of problems because she's, of course, lying. I mean, when you are blaming Trump about for something like the wall, I mean, the wall was a great thing, and now they are starting again where Trump left, but they're blaming Trump. I mean, it's insane. The whole thing is crazy.
By finishing the wall, is this?
We are not finishing the wall.
By filling in, finishing?
We are not finishing the wall.
By filling in.
And they finish. Lucy from Fox is always great because it's the only, really, to my knowledge, the only conservative who has a voice in that press room. But I mean, she's really like such a lying piece of garbage.
Is this racist? Because in 2019, when the former guy was proposing a wall, you said that it was his racist wall. So how is this any different? I'm just having a hard time understanding how this is any different.
I'm not even sure how you get to your first question, to this question that you just asked me. I will say this: a border wall. I'm answering your question. A border wall is ineffective use of taxpayer dollars. So it's ineffective of taxpayer dollars that actually went to the military.
So I don't understand. They're finishing the wall, but they are not finishing the wall. They're using the money for doing something else, but they are still finishing the wall. With what money they finish? I mean, really, guys, that's really incredible. The level of confusion in this room here, in this press room, it's very high. Huh?
The last administration, the prior president, took from the military, which took away from schools, which took away from military bases. That's what that money that he pulled away from to build this wall that he wanted, that is ineffective, by the way, which I just said.
So why you building it? I'm getting confused, Christy, because here there is a continuation of a war, but they're not building the war. They're giving back the money, but they're continuing the war. But with which money, we don't know. With money, but she's condemning Trump for the message that.
Just recently, CBP reported that new bollard fencing along the southwest border was breached 3,272 times between fiscal year of 2019 and 2021, requiring $2.6 million in repairs. It's ineffective. We are not finishing a wall. We are cleaning up the mess.
It's ineffective. So they are cleaning up this mess by building another part of the wall, because they had all these entrances. I mean, they are confirming that people breached the wall 3,000 times between 2019 and 2021, but at the same time, no, the wall is ineffective. I'm having some problems here. Maybe I'm stupid. I guess there's something I kind of like, I'm losing the point here. What is she talking about? Okay. Let's move on, because really listening to the spokesperson for the White House, it's like a headache amongst headaches. It's the biggest headache. I simply get confused. Guys, I get confused. Now, there is something that I wanted to show you. This happened in Italy. It's, of course, we are about to end the show today, but I wanted to show you this video. Now, a Nigerian guy in a town called Civitanova Marche was killed by a guy because, of course, we have also jealousy in Italy. You know, the Italian man gets jealous. This Nigerian guy was in some way annoying his fiancée, or just a girlfriend of sorts. I don't know. But what happened next is that basically he attacked the guy. Let's remember this. I mean, it's gonna become a war of desperados. People are gonna, I mean, apart from the fact that in Italy we have the Nigerian mafia, which is really a powerful mafia and shouldn't be there. But this guy was killed, basically. And I'm gonna show you the images of his killing in the streets. The images, of course, are not suitable for an audience that, you know, Rambo. Okay, so the crazy thing about the story is not the amount of racism, because, of course, if you are pushing Italians to the limits, accepting these hordes of Africans arriving, because Italy is not on the other side of the planet from Africa, it's in front of Africa, it's the first port of entry from Africa. That's why we're not talking about racism. We're talking about defense of their own borders and sovereignty. But the thing is, what shocks me more is the idiots who were there in front and didn't do anything. They simply stood there while this guy was getting killed. What's happening? And they didn't do anything. And the guy got killed with his own stick, because he was a guy who couldn't walk. So, you know,
That's terrible.
So this is what happened in Italy. Now, of course, there is people that are getting outraged about these images, but I remember once what happened when I went to buy a new TV in Piazza Vittorio, and suddenly I was coming back from to the car, and there was a Nigerian who was knocking on the car with Leo Christy inside. Now, I sincerely don't know what this guy did to this gentleman to make him so pissed off that he had to kill him. But guys, don't provoke. Have respect. If you go in another country, it's not your own country. Have respect. Okay? Respect is very important. Well, of course, it's the hell of Rome, but I'm saying that's where you find the Nigerians in Rome, in abundance. I'm not being racist here. I'm just saying, if a Nigerian comes and knocks, but he was literally knocking on the on the car.
Yeah, that was terrible.
And Christy was in it. Fortunately. I mean, I don't know if Christy was touched, how I would have probably reacted. If I probably reacted by killing the guy, maybe.
The guy was he still there when you came out? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, I mean,
did he go away?
Yeah, he went away. He went away. I mean, it makes you understand. No, I didn't have to beat them up, but it makes you understand. You know, this is a question of respect. You know, and you have to have respect. But in any case, Rambo, what do you think about it? Okay. Okay. I hope you enjoyed today's show. 1 minute past the hour, so of course we have reached the deadline for today's show. And Piazza Vittorio, by the way, is a place in Rome where you have the magical door, the Porta Magica, this alchemical door, which I talk about also in my books. My books, like Volume 7, but also Christie's books. And like I said, all these books are important to purchase because thanks to the purchase, if you purchase this book, we are able to carry on with our show. We would like to come back in September with more episodes every week, but we can hardly maintain one show a week with the kind of donations that we are receiving. So it's up to you guys. If you like the Leo Zagami Show, press the like button. Subscribe to all our channels, even the ones that we don't use currently to broadcast in English on YouTube. And at that point, make this show popular, the Leo Zagami Show great again, because we have been removed so many times. They have tried to deplatform us from YouTube. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. This is a book from Christie, but also this is another book from Christie. 2 books from Christie, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I hope you enjoyed the show, guys. It was, of course, a pleasure to be with all of you. Today, we had a lot of people calling in. We had some technical difficulties. Skype went a little bit crazy when we were receiving the phone calls. I kind of like at one point bringing in all this call. But we tried, of course, to get everybody who wanted to talk with us to talk. And we will see you next week on Saturday at 10 a.m. PST, 11 a.m. MT, 12 p.m. CST, and 1 p.m. EST. Take care.
Hi, everyone.
Rambo. And from Palm Springs, California, that was the Leo Zagami Show.